Check, check, check. Good morning. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep using my microphone and camera, but I'm going to. To be honest, at first I used these videos just as a way to review, and I really do like using these as a way to keep track of my trading and exactly what I was doing and exactly how I was seeing the trends at the time, because oftentimes during the day I'm changing around the trends, and I mean, at least if I keep the video, then I know it's right there and it's there forever. And by live streaming it, I don't have to keep it on my device. I don't have to go upload it. And basically YouTube is storing these things for me. So it really, it makes my life easier. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep like narrating the whole thing, because whenever I originally started these as well, I was going back through the entire video and I was watching it and I was seeing like exactly what I was thinking in each area and like how could I improve that thinking. And honestly, I should probably still be doing that. At least maybe not watch the entire video, but there are occasionally like very key moments on the chart, like specifically there's one in RTY that I was studying yesterday, this one where I took a losing trade here. Specifically, I was thinking that this had to be a wider trend, and I took this losing trade because of it. I got trapped. And so, to be honest, I should have gone back and watched the video to see why exactly I thought that, because it's clear now in hindsight that it really looks like this. And I kind of know why I was thinking it, so that's, you know, maybe why I didn't go watch it, but it might have helped if I did. So anyway, I probably should be doing that, and I was uncertain whether I wanted to keep like narrating things. I think that I will, because I should be using it. So yeah. Pretty clear day right here. This is actually looks like a decent trade. It's kind of a little bit aggressive. I wasn't here in time to think about taking that. There could be a lower high here, which would be a first entry, second entry failure. But basically, now that this is played out and we're coming off this overnight high, I would start with this downtrend and say downtrend break, new low. But because I'm expecting prices to go lower, I'm willing to draw the downtrend wider. So, whoops. I thought that was going to move this. So I'm willing to draw the downtrend wider because all the uptrends have played out. We're coming off the 3-inch high and I'm expecting prices to go lower. So I think this could be a decent trade. But again, I wasn't here in time and I don't think I would have taken it anyway because it's not a proven downtrend. It still could be 2 legs down and then just some sideways action. So if we do get another lower high and a strong lower high, then maybe I'll consider that. I feel like that would prove the trend to me. In Q, we get a downtrend pretty similar, but this one gets an overshoot. I think that you could make an argument that this is maybe similar. I don't think that's true though. I think it looks like this with a close outside new low on ES. On NQ, I think you get this downtrend here that has an overshoot leading to a reversal. 2 legs up, uptrend break, new high. And then you just get this congestive action. And it looks like we've broken out and pulled back to that congestion. So I'm expecting prices to go ahead and head most likely down. Most likely down there. Here, 2 legs up, 2 legs down, and congestion. Uptrend break, new high, 2 legs down. Pretty simple stuff, pretty simple. Downtrend break, new low, uptrend break, new high. Then we get a little bit of an area where I'm not exactly sure what was happening here. So it could be like this. It's definitely not like that actually. I think more than likely this is just like some choppy area and then you get 2 legs down. But it's really just sideways. This is all just very sideways. Whether this is a range or not, I don't know. The only thing I'm certain of here is that this trend is in play, but I'm not looking to play it because it's looking very range-like, and if you look at this, everything's just looking very flat. So it's really just this one that I'm looking for. It is FOMC rate announcement day, so I'm expecting prices to be a little bit slower today. That happens at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and I will be done trading by then. But still, it usually affects the markets. My allergies have been killing me. It's getting warmer here. I'm on the East Coast, southeast technically, and so it's getting warmer and the pollen's starting, and I get some pretty bad seasonal allergies, so my allergies have been kicking up, and so I've had to blow my nose a ton. And I am watching the chat now. At first, this is something I didn't really want to do because it's distracting. And I'm still not sure if it's something I want to do. There's a couple things to think about here. First off, I don't want anybody else's view of the market to affect mine. So like if somebody came in and they're like, yeah, downtrend's wrong, then like that might affect the way that I view the market. And second, it's just something else to think about. So I don't know, I'm gonna try it out. I feel like I'm decently comfortable in my reads of the market, so I'm okay with trying that out. But I don't really care to know like how many people are viewing the live stream all the time. So I guess you can't see my left side of the screen, but I'll show it here. So you can see I've got the chat up on the left side, and then I've got the streaming software, it's OBS Studio, on the right side of my left screen. So I'm going to try that out. I'm going to hide it. Well, you know what? Shoot. There's no reason not to. I'll leave it here. Okay. Looks like this is actually 2 legs down. And so that's not a good trade. Okay, it looks like we might be starting a separate uptrend here on YM. Possibly. Just going to keep an eye on that. Also have to wonder, okay, why are we still headed higher despite being at this overnight high and all of the other uptrends playing out? And why did this downtrend play out so early? And of course, it's possible that there's an uptrend like this, but we would have to move up a lot in order for that to be correct. So obviously, not willing to draw that. Not yet. There could be a spike in channel, and that would be maybe more correct, but this doesn't really look like a spike. Not quite yet. So at this point, I'm just playing it as is. Now on incur, it's pretty clear you have an uptrend like this. This one's already played out. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that's incorrect. Stick with this to break a new high. Extend that out. Looking for any possible shorts. It's my expectation for what's going to happen on the ES as well. Sometimes after a trend plays out, especially in a range, you just kind of get some sideways action before a true reversal. So that could be the case here. All right, looks like this is actually a little bit wider. So sometimes it feels like I'm overfitting whenever I do things like this, like start off the body instead, and that could be the case. But let's see how that plays out first. This could be valid. Oh, we're turning back up here, so interesting. Same with the ES, so we're not getting that follow through down action. So we might end up getting a trend like this. That's where we'll start. That's where we'll start. We already have a close outside a new high on incur. Then we have to wonder, okay, why are we still headed higher? Maybe we actually have a trend like this, and this is the close outside a new high. Let's go ahead and edit this. And that makes sense. I like that. That's the new high for this. Let's go ahead and play it this way. It's just some congestive action. I like that a lot. Let's see how this looks. Does that look the same? Does not. So I like that on ES, Q. All right, let's check out RTY. Looks like you have this here. Okay, so the closest to a possible setup right now for me is GC, looking for a short inside of this downtrend. YM looking interesting. So why isn't that downtrend playing out? Well, there could be a larger downtrend, something like that. Probably not. So what does that look like? If there is, it probably doesn't start back here. Probably doesn't start back here because that's too much sideways action. So if you put it in here, look at all that sideways action. You could start here, but then you've already overshot the channel. So we could be there. We could expand all the way so that way the midline right here fits. But that's probably not right either. This would probably be the most correct, but then you're skipping a swing here. So I'm not confident on where that trend is at this point. I'm just going to kind of let that one simmer and come back to it and decide exactly what's happening whenever I'm a little bit more clear. Don't have to always know what's going on. Looks like this could be a little bit tighter. Might be getting an overshoot. Maybe not tighter. Let's go ahead and deal with that as an overshoot for the time being. Now what's going on here? Spike up. I'm definitely not looking to take any trades here. Not yet. And although I said I didn't want to draw a trend like this, it does look like it might fit. It doesn't. I don't love it because we're skipping these swings. There's a bunch of sideways action in between, so I'm not willing to play that yet, but but I want to keep an eye on something like that. Just remember that that's there. I like this on incur a lot. I like how that plays out. Getting a strong second leg up on RTY. So it's making me think there could be a larger uptrend. So the new high is not proportional to the initial trend. And so I'm thinking there could be this possible uptrend. Dealing with this as an overshoot. Still not sure what's going on here. This area was quite confusing, and now this area is too, so waiting for a clearer structure. Dealing with this as a short-term leg back. And expecting that we could go to retest this high. Go ahead and get rid of this as a range, because it's not acting like one, but I still want to know that the overnight high was there. So I'm putting that there. Putting the overnight low in as well. This is still kind of reacting as a range, and it looks like I'm ready to go ahead and expand this downtrend out. On ES, we might have to rethink this. I have to rethink exactly what this looks like right now. So this could just be like this instead, where that's already a break a new high. 2 legs down, and then this break a new high. And it's kind of what I'm leaning towards currently. I'm not really looking for any trades at this moment, but this is what I'm definitely leaning towards. Okay. And this uptrend is incorrect. Just 2 legs up. Looks like 2, not quite measured, but kind of. So that's got to break a new high. GC not really acting like an overshoot. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Expand this out. Okay. Not sure what's going on YM still. Let's go ahead and play with this being maybe something like that. Kind of skips a swing. Not my favorite. But makes sense. That's a weird, it's a really weird trend. Like if I draw it like that, if I draw it like this, it's still a weird trend though. It's just a little bit less weird. It's still weird. Could be like that. Maybe there's like a very slight overshoot, but nothing crazy. It's possible that this downtrend looks like this. The new low already. Okay, downtrend not playing out there. We're heading back above the overnight highs. Definitely some slight bullish bias. That downtrend not playing out, so looking less and less like this is two legs, and more so like it could be something like this. One strong leg back there. So potential to see some sort of short entry here. What is this? It's the first entry. First entry short. Potential for a second entry short. We're getting some more info on YM. Price is really staying up there. It's too bad that this little piece is in the way because it would look really nice if it was like this. But that's too weird of a trend, and it can't be that. So let's go ahead and just draw this for the time being and see how that ends up. Okay. Really just looking at GC for the time being. To be honest, I want to kind of get rid of that. This is looking really range-like. Could end up being a range here. Like smaller range. It's probably the new low. True new low. It's probably like that. Very strong bar up on GC. All right, let's bring it back. I like that, I like that. Somewhere in between on that. Two legs played out here, got a new high. Expecting prices to move lower, so looking for a lower high or failed second entry below the EMA. Two legs down there. In queue, I'm gonna go ahead and play around with something like this. Decent possibility that something like that is correct. Get rid of that. R2I. Uncertain. Feels like I'm overfitting the trend like that. It feels the most correct though. Still looking for lower high. And we're coming back to see if this trend line's right. Possibility it's above the EMA, and I don't really like taking stuff, but well, actually, never mind. It's not a possibility. It didn't break higher than that previous bar. It's an equal high. So looking for a lower high still. Break a new low. I would not be surprised at all if we end up getting like a smaller range here, something like that. But I'm not willing to draw that quite yet. Just want to see what's going to happen. Okay. Looking for the lower high. Still looking for a lower high or a failure. Looking for the break and new low of this downtrend. It's pretty Pretty straightforward setup. 2 legs back, short-term uptrend, yeah, gets a break and new high. Looking for the break and new low of the downtrend. If we get a lower high or a failed second entry, I'll be all over that one. There's a possibility for an entry here. You have a short-term leg back. Looks like we basically just proved this uptrend, which I was definitely uncertain about. So if we do get a higher low, creating a second entry long or a failed second entry short above the EMA, that will be interesting as well. We'll see if this downtrend holds or not. If not, I'll go back to a shorter term downtrend with a break and new low. Here we are on RTY. Looking very range-like on RTY. Nothing much to say there. Looks like we just hit a news event. I don't believe there is a news event, so I'm not sure why the volatility is picking up, but I'm sure it's picking up on everything. Yep. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. I'm gonna try out a range like this. These prices are flip-flopping the EMA too much. I want to see how that plays out. Okay, let's change this back to like this. With that being a break and a new low. RTY, okay, makes sense. No lower high there, and that is proven there. Great, okay, everything kind of makes sense. Expecting a new high for this uptrend, except I'm not really going to play that because I think the prices are just sticking around in this range, most likely. Looks like that's close outside new high right there. So my guess would be the prices are going to turn here at the highs, but we'll see what happens. I'm not going to play that, but it's a possibility. This is, instead of being a short-term leg back, this is its own leg back. I need to get over to the GC, see if there's lower high. No lower high yet. Looking at the RTY, and we have a breaking new high, so it looks like this trend was correct. This trend never played out here. So breaking new high for the uptrend, great. Looks like we basically attempted this new low. At this point, the lower high has moved too far, so I'm going to need a failed second entry if I'm willing to take this trade now on GC. Looks like the uptrend is definitely proven here, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Get rid of this trend, and I'm playing this as a spike in channel now. It looks like this might just be like this, break a new low, and then we go into the spike in channel. Well, don't even really need that, to be honest. Doesn't matter. Okay, getting an overshoot. And see if we continue up or return around on the ES in Q. Looks like this uptrend is in play. Could be a little bit wider. RTY, great. Looks good, except for this uptrend is now really strong. Very, very strong. I wonder what's going on. Overshoot of that trend. Okay, so here's where we would get the lower high right here. So this could be a lower high. Even if there's a good signal bar, I can't take that price. I've moved too far now. We've already moved like basically all the way down and then come all the way back up. So nothing I can do there. But if we do get a failed second entry, I might be interested. Honestly, at this point, it looks like the downtrend already has a closeout side, an attempt at a new low. So probably not looking to take that at all. Looks like we might continue up on ES, and this range that I have drawn could be incorrect. All right, it's looking like this attempt at the break a new low was enough. And honestly, this could still just be an overshoot, which could explain why prices are kind of doing what they're doing. So I'm actually going to change this. I don't think it really matters at this point, but I have a feeling that it's actually kind of how I initially had it drawn, where this maybe is an overshoot. I keep writing PS instead of OS. And then this is the attempt at a new low, and it fails. And now we're going higher. All right, we're continuing higher. So I thought this range was going to prevail. It doesn't. So let's go ahead and just bring this back and just say, well, you know, we tried with the overnight highs. The overnight highs tried to hold prices, kind of like a range. Came back then, and then boom, we're headed back up there. So this is looking like it's probably a wider trend at this point. It's probably going to be a wider trend. So it looks like you could still just be within the break a new high for this trend. Definitely not feeling like a range, though. Not there. Change this to, for some reason in my head, whenever I have a range drawn there, instead of just like the overnight highs and overnight lows, it kind of changes the way that I think about it. Like these just mark the overnight highs and overnight lows, just these horizontal lines, versus whenever I have a range, I kind of expect prices to come back within the range. I'm not sure why, just a mental thing. This is not really acting like an overshoot. So let's go ahead and expand this out. Remove the overshoot. Generally, I'll remove an overshoot once prices break the previous high or low again. So like you can see like here, we had an overshoot, but then prices, usually what you'd expect is a strong push through the EMA and a break of the trend. But here prices are moving up again, and it looks like they're going to break this high. So that's what makes me think it's probably not an overshoot, and I'm expanding this trend like this. This overnight high is probably not going to come into play anymore. Same with the ES. I think at this point, it's basically gone. It's mute. And now we can move on to just what looks like this uptrend. Probably same on NQ, except for this uptrend looks like it's played out. It could be wider. If prices really do continue up a lot, then maybe I'll be willing to widen it like that. But for the time being, it just looks like this. With a break a new high. We have a break of this downtrend, so I'm expecting prices to move towards the low. Okay, that's looking about right on YM. I'm liking how that looks. Same with the ES. Same with NQ. I'm liking how all that looks. Same RTY. Yeah, everything makes sense so far. I'm feeling good about the read. All right, let's pull this in. That trend's not holding. So we're going to treat this as a close outside a new high. This doesn't look like it's going to hold. I guess it could. I could be speaking too soon. But I think what's going to happen is treat this as a break a new high. Looks like we're headed towards a break a new low. Looks like this one's going to end up being wider. Let's get rid of that. And headed towards that. Break a new low. Great. Looks good, looks good. This is probably not a range though. Let's go and bring in that overnight high here. Let's see what prices come back within, or if they come back within this. Okay, so this chart froze up, I think. No, it's still going. I thought it was frozen because it hasn't really moved at all, which is odd. It's like basically zero volume going on in YM right now. And sometimes I do get like some slippage. You know what? I never really thought about it, but there's like not very many contracts changing hands on YM. Like at each price level, there's only like 5 or 6 compared to the ES, where like each one's like whatever, it looks like 20, 30, like at any given moment, you know, sometimes like 100. YM is not like that. It's like, I don't even see a breaking 10. You can't even see the numbers that I'm talking about on my the right side of my screen, but you can see basically at each price level how many contracts are changing hands. And I've really thought about like, well, I guess the same with NQ. I do get some slippage on NQ too, so that makes sense. Yeah, well, okay. It's the same on basically everything. Gold is decent though. Gold has something. Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Getting a leg back. I thought that was going to be wider, but it's not. It's actually just like this. With that being a new high and this being a new trend, most likely. And man, the volume just went off a cliff. This is like incredibly slow on YM, which is weird. Yeah, it looks like I might have spoken too soon on the ES as far as this trend not being wider. Might be like this. Might have spoken too soon. I could be overfitting because you can see prices aren't really fitting off this. You're kind of using the wick. I mean, I guess it could also be, could also just be like this. That could be the trend. Don't love that. Don't love that at all. I think I would prefer this, assuming prices do hold. If they don't hold, then obviously I'll have to change it. But we'll just see what that looks like. And on NQ, it's kind of looking similar, looking like this, which I do like a little bit better on the NQ. Maybe not. Actually, don't like that much better. Probably like this, a little bit tighter. Get rid of that. Still zero volume in YM. I don't love that. I mean, prices would really have to, in order for this trend to be correct, prices would really have to move up here, like now. If they break, it's definitely not right. Same with the NQ. Depends on what the break looks like, assuming there is one. Okay, we have a first entry, potential for a second entry long on YM. With this leg getting a short-term downtrend break. Attempt at a new low. Looks like that's what they're doing right now, at least. Great. Looking better. Looking like this is probably like this. Looking better. Great. There's also a possibility that this is a spiking channel. If prices really continue upwards, that could definitely be a spiking channel. I'm going to start it off the body for now. Just play it like this for the time being, but it doesn't fit quite right here. Let's try this. I don't love that. I'm going to try it. I think it's just going to need more information before I'm really sure what's happening there. All right, looks like we are going to head towards this break and new low after all for the downtrend. So, yeah, might or might not be looking for a short here, depending on how it sets up. You do have a first entry, break lower, potential second entry long. Looks very congestive. Looks congestive. Don't love how that's setting up. Short-term downtrend as it close outside a new low. So there's that, but it's not very convincing new low. Price are looking just more sideways than anything. So like I feel like this could easily just be like dragged out a little bit. So could easily still be within the downtrend. Doesn't look like you're gonna get a good signal bar anyway. First entry, break lower. That's not even an equal low, so nothing I can do there. Looks like we're definitely headed towards the new low for this downtrend. New high, no new low. I'm gonna go ahead and mark it. Hasn't reached there yet, but I think it's going to. If there was a two-legged pullback to the EMA, then that's something that I would be interested in, but not if we get too close to that new low. This spiking channel is actually looking pretty good. I'm liking how that fits. Same with this on incur. Everything's making sense for the most part. First entry, second entry, can't take that. Why can't we take that? Well, first off, the signal bar does not have at least an equal low to this one. So that signal bar does not qualify. Even though it's bullish, does not qualify for me to take. Even if it did, I'm not sure if I would want that. All right, I'm gonna remove that downtrend. I don't think it's needed. I think really this downtrend, break, heading to a new low. It just didn't feel that way because at first I was looking at this as downtrend, overshoot, break, attempted a new low, reversal. Then this uptrend played out before we corrected substantially. So I can't remember if this is the right one. So we retraced about 60%, which is roughly the level where I'll start not looking for the break new low anymore. But I see that now. I just, this feels right. Possibility for a higher low on YM. If a first entry, break lower, second entry, potential for a higher low. This is getting to be a very congestive area, very stacked sideways. Definitely not taking a higher low like that. I was looking at my data yesterday, and I realized that whenever a bar is on stilts like this, that I pretty much always lose. It's not a good bet. Doesn't work very well. I've been keeping track of my time. Is this the right one? Yeah, I've been keeping track of my time that I spend in 1 hour blocks, and so I'm filling out one of those 1 hour blocks. How engaged was I? Mostly locked in, minimal distractions, 5 completely. Give that score. Phone locked up and really zoned in during the session so far. What can I do to improve? Nothing. Did I work on the most high leverage thing possible? In this case, yes. Because trading, at least right now, the highest leverage thing I can do is focus. get that out of the way. Still potential for a higher low here. First entry, second entry, higher low. It actually looks a little bit better now that this bar is closed bearish. So we've got like a big bullish reversal bar. Maybe that's something I would consider. Nothing else is really looking close or interesting right now. What is this? YM 27, 130. Probably want to take 4 contracts. 4 or 5. It's not looking like the signal bar is going to be any good anyway. The short-term downtrend probably looks more like this. I'm guessing this is a new low. I like the spiking channel on ES. I have a feeling that that will get a break a new high. I think that this, again, I think this really looks like that. Like that. Downtrend break, new low. Oops. Downtrend has a close outside, headed towards a new low. When I usually trade until 10:30, but I'm trading till 11 today. I think I'm gonna start trading till 11 every day. Just kind of makes more sense with my schedule. 10:30 is kind of a odd spot to stop. First entry, potential for a second entry on ES. Short-term downtrend has a close outside and a new low. So I'm liking that. 3.75 is what I'm looking for. So 3 contracts, assuming we take this one. It's kind of looking congestive though. Congestive, and this bar has an equal low. But on the other hand, it could also be a triple test. First entry, break lower, potential second entry long. few things I'm not so certain about. First off, that signal bar is not good. It's a first entry, second entry on RTY. I guess, you know, maybe you can consider that. I don't really like it though. This is really just looking like congestion. Remove that, throw that in there. We got a short-term downtrend. I do believe that does have a new low. I've really got to run to the restroom, so I will be right back, and hopefully I don't miss a trade. I consider taking a higher low or a failed second entry after these 2 legs back. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. Tempting to take the 2 larger legs back here, combined with a failed breakout. What is the ATR? It's about 20. So I don't really love that signal bar. If it was a really strong signal bar, I might consider it, but there, I don't think so. Possibility, but I don't think that I'm willing to risk that. I would like to see a higher low. Looks like we're reversing on GC after the break and new low of the downtrend. That's exactly why I didn't want to take this on the NQ. The signal bar is no good. There's a possibility that this uptrend has already played out. I don't think so. I don't think that it's like this. That doesn't really look right to me. I think it looks a lot better like this. And I think this is 2 legs down. But we'll see. If we do get a pop above the EMA and, like I said, a higher low or failed second entry after what looks like 2 legs back, then I could be interested in that. This looks like a congestive area, so it's possible this is the start of the first leg back instead of this being 1 leg. This could just be sideways. It's looking like this short-term downtrend is about to get a break new low. I'm wondering if there's a larger trend in play here, but at this point, I don't really want to draw that. Looks like this trend on the YM is starting to run out of steam. And we're not getting a strong push above the EMA on NQ. That looks like the true break a new low. So before this is just an equal low. Now we have a true 2 legs down. So it looks very similar to incur, except like I said, this could just be sideways action and this could be the first true leg down instead of this being the first leg, which I'm kind of leaning towards. And it looks like we have a close outside a new low, or very close, sub bottom, so close enough on the R2Y. So we have 2 larger legs back, but I'm not sure if I want to play for the break a new high of this uptrend. Have to see. I like how GC is setting up, so if we get a 2-legged pullback here, then something I could be interested in. Might be interested in taking something on YM long, but it looks like the trend is kind of rolling over. Or it could be, at least. Doesn't look very strong. The spiking channel could be incorrect on ES. Could just be like this, with a close outside a new high already. So that's something to keep in mind. But that doesn't really fit very well. The spiking channel fits a lot better. Just might be overfitting. Possibility for a higher low on RTY. And let's see if we can get a 2-legged pullback on GC. I feel like I haven't seen a trade like this in a while, where a trend plays out, there's a strong spike, and then a perfect 2-legged pullback. Not to say that will happen. Yeah, it's a pretty solid signal bar. But it's the 3rd entry. It looks like 2 legs back, but it's like a wide 2 legs back. So again, looking for a higher low here, potentially. Don't know if that's something that I would want to take, but there's the possibility of a larger trend in play, although it looks a little bit too sideways. And at the very least, looking for this break a new high though. We're still marching higher on YM. Go ahead and pull that range in. At this point, it's already broken out. I don't think it's going to come into play. Could get a higher low though. It's possible that it's the same case as the incur, where I think it could just be that this is the first leg back. This is sideways action as prices are breaking the uptrend, and then you get the first leg back. So that might get a break a new low of its own. I'm not exactly sure. I'm just going to have to play that one by ear. Pretty strong leg back here. Potential for a 2nd entry long. First entry and the EMA is holding. It's on GC. I should really start keeping a I don't know, something like that to tell which chart is what. Okay, possible higher low on RTY. Looks like 2 larger legs back. I'm not sure if this broke higher or lower first. It looks like that was probably right on the NQ and the ES, where this is the true first leg back. And so now I think we've moved towards the break new low there. I think that's the same case on the ES. And so now I'm expecting prices to retest the high of both these trends. And if they don't, then I'm going to have to adjust the trend. Doesn't look like that's going to be a higher low. So why not take this higher low? Because it closes all the way through the, like barely closes through the EMA. I would prefer to see it push above and then come back and test the EMA instead of closing through it like that. It's also super congestive and a little bit uncertain of an area. It's actually not a true new low there. I guess maybe if you draw it like this, it could be. GC is looking pretty good as far as looking for a second entry long, new high, first entry, potential second entry off the EMA. And prices are really getting slow here. I haven't traded past 1030 in a little while, and I can tell the volume is shrinking. But again, it's FOMC day, so maybe expected. It makes sense to have something like this on here to tell what chart's what, but I don't really want to have to go do that every day. There's probably a plugin that automatically does that. Maybe shows it in the top left or something. And second entry long is looking unlikely. At this point, I wouldn't even want to take it if prices did move all the way back down to the EMA to create one, because this leg up was so strong. There's not really anything interesting right now. All right, so it looks like we might finally test the uptrend on YM. We can see if that's correct. It's also very possible, as I've been saying, that this uptrend is actually like this and already has close outside and new high on ES. I'm going to stick with this for now, but if we continue to get a lot of downward action and no push above the EMA, then I'll probably switch it. So assuming that a second entry long sets up here, I'm not going to want to take that because at this point prices have already moved up and retested this high and just moved up too much. So it's not really what I'm looking for. It's looking more and more like this downtrend is actually wider. And so I might change this back, but for the time being, I'm going to look at this as if it's already a close outside new high. And remove that. Well, I don't know. We can leave that. don't think the same is on the incur though. I think that fits really well on incur. That looks good. That looks good. Definitely not looking for a break a new high of this uptrend anymore. I think that was the attempt. Uptrend, close outside, attempted a new high. Now we're moving lower. Maybe. The only thing that is looking somewhat close to an entry is YM. And that's if prices find some support off of the trend line here. So I think ideally prices find support here and then create a higher low above the EMA, creating a second entry. This could also be short-term downtrend break, 2 legs to a new low. Now we might be looking for potentially a long entry. Let's take a look at this uptrend again. So there's still potential that that's correct, but I'm sort of doubting it. Doesn't look quite right. All right, short-term downtrend looks like it's going to get a break and new low on GC. In fact, it's a double bottom, it counts for me. And now I can actually start looking for some longs. I might be willing to kind of pull this in and say that that's already touched the trend there. It's a possibility, depending on how prices react here. So if we do get a higher low and second entry long, good chance that I'm willing to take that, though it does look like this trend is getting weaker. All right, so there's definitely a possibility to look for a second entry long on YM. First entry, or sorry, new high, first entry, looking for a potential second entry. If there's a good signal bar here, there's a strong chance that I'll be willing to take that. About 5 contracts. Probably go 4 or 5. Could maybe look for a higher low on RTY, but it just looks a little bit too unclear. Again, this uptrend could be in play. There's definitely a possibility of that. And that would kind of make sense. So maybe look for a higher low, which would also be a second entry long. If we got a strong signal bar here, then I would definitely like that. But it has to be a pretty good signal bar. If it's just a doji, then I'm okay. Let's see what happens. And there's no way. No way that's a good signal bar. At this point, kind of bring this back out to where I had it and see if that holds there. I don't really want to take a long below the EMA. Not off a trend line that is looking like it might not hold. And it looks like this one's proven on the ES. So I might actually have to also switch the incur over. So definitely a possibility that I've been playing this wrong. And it's actually like this. I don't like that though. Could just be like that. And that could already just be a close outside a new high. But it looks a little weird. Either way, prices are clearly heading lower on both of these. Possible to take that higher low, but I don't like that. That would be assuming that this trend is right, but prices have looked so sideways, I have basically no faith in that one being right, even though it could make sense. Basically just be a, I mean, it is a second entry long because you're counting off here, first entry, second entry, but really it's like a higher low after a short-term downtrend and break in two legs, two new low. Basically just be betting on this uptrend, which again, I don't really love, so I'm not willing to risk that. Now if we did get a failed second entry here, then maybe. And it looks like this was the attempt at the new high on this one. And prices are now heading lower, so I don't think that that's truly, I think this is probably going to be a separate downtrend. In just about 5 more minutes, so chances are I won't be taking any trades today. Unless we got a strong higher low on YM. I think that's really about it, or a failed second entry on RTY. Everything else is not really close to setting up anything. Potential for a failure here, but I feel like the short-term uptrend has already played out and there's a lot of uncertainty around kind of what's going on here, so I'm okay. Not gonna take that. And it looks like this trend line is probably not going to hold, which makes sense because it looks like prices were getting really weak around this area. My guess on RTY is that this is going to end up being a tighter range. That's like the close outside new low and just getting really sideways. EMA is dead in the middle of all these bars. And with just about 2-ish minutes left, doesn't look like anything's close to setting up, so I'm going to go ahead and call it there. And I will see you tomorrow.